The race session is at Circuit de Monaco, OSRW 1.1, in Monte Carlo, MC, Monaco. Dominic Singendonk from Netherlands is first. Daniel Handke from Germany is second. Hein van Niekerk from South Africa is P3. Martijn Mol from Netherlands is P4 with 50 kilos. Rene Robertson from England is 5th with 20 kilos. John Astrop from New Zealand is P6 with 40 kilos. David Forsyth from Ireland is 7th. Dominic Faubourg from United Kingdom is P8. Bob Bartle from England is 9th. Brian Patterson from Scotland is P10 with 10 kilos. Robert Cormack from Italy is 11th. Christopher Ball from United Kingdom is P12. Dominic Singendonk is P1.
Remaining in the session. Race start. Martijn Mol is P4. Martijn Mol passed Hein van Niekerk for P3. Hein van Niekerk is 5th. John Astrop is P7. John Astrop passed Dominic Faubourg for 6th. Brian Patterson is 9th. Daniel Handke is 2nd. Hein van Niekerk is P5. David Forsyth is 9th. Hein van Niekerk from South Africa is 5th, 0.2 behind Rene Robertson. Daniel Handke on lap 2 is 2nd, 0.5 behind Dominic Singendonk. Rene Robertson is P4, 0.5 behind Martijn Mol. Daniel Handke is P2, 0.4 behind Dominic Singendonk.
Forsyth is 9th, 0.5 behind Brian Patterson. Hein van Niekerk is 5th, 0.4 behind Rene Robertson. David Forsyth on lap 3 is 9th, 0.1 behind Brian Patterson. David Forsyth is now 8th. Rene Robertson is P4, 0.4 behind Martijn Mol. Bob Bartle is 9th, 0.4 behind David Forsyth. Rene Robertson is P4. Hein van Niekerk is P5, 0.3 behind Rene Robertson. "25 minutes remaining in the session. Rene Robertson is 4th, 0.5 behind Martijn Mol. Hein van Niekerk from South Africa is P5, 0.6 behind Rene Robertson. Rene Robertson is 4th, 0.6 ahead of Hein van Niekerk. Hein van Niekerk is 5th, 0.3 behind Rene Robertson. Dominic Singendonk is 2nd, 0.5 behind Daniel Handke. Rene Robertson is P4, 0.3 behind Martijn Mol. Hein van Niekerk is 5th, 0.5 behind Rene Robertson. Dominic Singendonk is 2nd, 0.9 behind Daniel Handke. Dominic Singendonk was 1.0 faster last lap. Dominic Singendonk passed Daniel Handke for P1. Hein van Niekerk is P5, 0.3 behind Rene Robertson. Rene Robertson is P4, 0.6 ahead of Hein van Niekerk. Hein van Niekerk is P5, 0.5 behind Rene Robertson. Christopher Ball exiting pits. Rene Robertson is P4, 0.3 ahead of Hein van Niekerk. Hein van Niekerk is P5. Best lap is a 1:27.836. 1.477 off the fastest lap. Rene Robertson is 4th, 0.8 ahead of Hein van Niekerk. Rene Robertson is now 3rd. Hein van Niekerk is 4th, 0.6 behind Rene Robertson. 20 minutes remaining in the session. Dominic Favard is P7. Hein van Niekerk is P4, 0.8 behind Rene Robertson. Dominic Favard on lap 8 is 7th, 0.7 behind Martijn Mol. John Astrup is P5, 1.1 behind Hein van Niekerk. Hein van Niekerk is 4th, 0.9 behind Rene Robertson. Dominic Favard is P7. Best lap is a 1:28.492. 2.133 off the fastest lap. Hein van Niekerk is 4th, 0.4 behind Rene Robertson. Dominic Favard is P7, 0.5 behind Martijn Mol. Hein van Niekerk is fourth, 0.3 behind Rene Robertson. Dominic Faubourg is 7th, 0.6 behind Martijn Mol. Hein van Niekerk is 4th, 0.2 behind Rene Robertson. Hein van Niekerk is now 4th. Dominic Faubourg is 7th, 0.3 behind Hein van Niekerk. Hein van Niekerk was 0.7 faster last lap. Dominic Faubourg passed Hein van Niekerk for P6. Hein van Niekerk is P7, 1.7 behind Dominic Faubourg. Minutes remaining in the session. Dominic Faubourg is P6, 1.0 behind Martijn Mol. Hein van Niekerk entering the pits is P7. Martijn Mol is 5th. 0.7 ahead of Dominic Faubourg. Hein van Niekerk exiting pits. Hein van Niekerk is P10, 0.5 behind Brian Patterson. Daniel Handke entering the pits is P2. Dominic Faubourg is P6, 0.5 behind Martijn Mol. Hein van Niekerk is P10. Dominic Faubourg entering the pits is 6th. Hein van Niekerk passed Brian Patterson for P9. Daniel Handke exiting pits. Brian Patterson is 10th, 1.2 behind Hein van Niekerk. Dominic Faubourg exiting pits. Rene Robertson is P4, 1.7 behind Daniel Handke. Robert Cormack entering the pits is P11. Dominic Singendonk entering the pits is 1st. Daniel Handke is 3rd, 1.7 behind John Astrup. John Astrup entering the pits is P2. Dominic Singendonk exiting pits. Daniel Handke is now P2. Robert Cormack exiting pits. Rene Robertson on lap 13 is third, 2.3 behind Daniel Handke. John Astroff exiting pits. John Astroff is 6th, 1.4 behind David Forsyth. Hein van Niekerk on lap 13 is P9, 1.7 behind Dominic Bobard. David Forsyth on lap 13 is 6th, 0.3 behind John Astroff. David Forsyth was 17.9 faster last lap. Hein van Niekerk is 9, 0.7 behind Dominic Bobard. Minutes remaining in the session. Daniel Handke is P2, 1.7 behind Dominic Sinjendonk. Hein van Niekerk is P9, 0.4 behind Dominic Bobard. Hein van Niekerk is now 8th. Dominic Bobard on lap 14 is 7th, 0.4 ahead of Hein van Niekerk. Rene Robertson entering the pits is P3. Hein van Niekerk is 8th, 0.4 behind Dominic Bobard. Hein van Niekerk is now 6th. Bob Bartle is 9th, 0.5 behind David Forsyth. Dominic Bobard entering the pits is P7. David Forsyth entering the pits is 8th. Rene Robertson exiting pits. Bob Bartle passed Dominic Bobard for 7th. Hein van Niekerk is P6, 2.6 behind Rene Robertson. Dominic Bobard exiting pits. David Forsyth exiting pits. Daniel Handke is P2. Hein van Niekerk is 6th, 3.0 behind Rene Robertson. Hein van Niekerk was 17.7 faster last lap. Daniel Handke is P2, 3.2 behind Dominic Sinjendonk. Dominic Singendonk was 0.7 faster last lap. Christopher Ball entering the pits is P12. Hein van Niekerk is P6, 2.3 behind Rene Robertson. Dominic Faubourg is P9. Christopher Ball exiting pits. Daniel Handke is P2, 3.0 behind Dominic Singendonk. Dominic Faubourg on lap 16 is 9th, 0.9 behind Brian Patterson. Dominic Faubourg was 1.8 faster last lap. Five minutes remaining in the session. Hein van Niekerk is 6th, 3.0 behind Rene Robertson. Dominic Faubourg is 9th. Brian Patterson is 9th battling Dominic Faubourg. Brian Patterson passed Dominic Faubourg for 8th. Dominic Faubourg is 9th, 0.3 behind Brian Patterson. John Astrup is 4th, 2.2 behind Martijn Mol. Brian Patterson is P9, 0.2 behind Dominic Faubourg. Dominic Faubourg was 0.6 faster last lap. John Astrup is 4th, 0.5 behind Martijn Mol. John Astrup passed Martijn Mol for P3. David Forsyth is P10, 0.5 behind Brian Patterson. Martijn Mol is P4, 1.5 ahead of Rene Robertson. David Forsyth is P9, 0.4 behind Brian Patterson. Best lap is a 1:27.473. 1.296 off the fastest lap. David Forsyth is P9, 0.5 behind Brian Patterson. Hein van Niekerk is P5. David Forsyth is P9, 1.0 behind Brian Patterson. Dominic Bobart is P10, 1.7 behind David Forsyth. David Forsyth on lap 20 is P9, 0.3 behind Brian Patterson. Rene Robertson entering the pits is P4. Dominic Bobart is P10, 0.6 behind David Forsyth. Dominic Bobart was 2.3 faster last lap. Rene Robertson exiting pits. Dominic Bobart passed Brian Patterson for P8. David Forsyth is 10th. Daniel Handke is P2, 2.2 behind Dominic Sinjendonk. David Forsyth from Ireland is P10, 0.5 behind Brian Patterson. Brian Patterson is P10 battling David Forsyth. The leader has just finished the race. Dominic Sinjendonk finished first. Daniel Handke finished second. Brian Patterson finished P9. David Forsyth finished 10th. John Astrup finished third. Rene Robertson finished fourth. Hein van Niekerk finished P5. Martijn Mol finished P6. Christopher Ball finished P12. Bob Bartle finished 7th. Dominic Bobard finished P8. Robert Cormack finished P11. The race session is at Circuit de Monaco, OSRW 1.1, in Monte Carlo, MC, Monaco. Dominic Singendonk from Netherlands is first. Daniel Handke from Germany is second. Martijn Mol from Netherlands is third with 50 kilos. Rene Robertson from England is fourth with 20 kilos. John Astrup from New Zealand is fifth with 40 kilos. David Forsyth from Ireland is P6. Dominic Faubourg from United Kingdom is P7. Bob Bartle from England is P8. Brian Patterson from Scotland is 9th with 10 kilos. Robert Cormack from Italy is P10. Christopher Ball from United Kingdom is 11th. Dominic Singendonk is first. Minutes remaining in the session. Race start. Rene Robertson is fourth. John Astrup is fifth. Dominic Faubourg is sixth. Daniel Handke is P2. Christopher Ball is P10. Daniel Handke is second. Bob Bartle entering the pits is 10th. John Astrup is 4th. Best lap is a 1:36.998. 4.693 off the fastest lap. Dominic Bobarg is P5, 0.3 behind John Astrup. Bob Bartle exiting pits. Daniel Handke from Germany is P2, 0.2 behind Dominic Singendonk. Dominic Bobarg is P5. Best lap is a 1:37.898. 5.593 off the fastest lap. Dominic Singendonk is P2. Dominic Bobarg is P5, 1.0 behind John Astrup. Dominic Singendonk is P2, 0.5 behind Daniel Handke. Daniel Handke was 0.6 faster last lap. Dominic Bobarg is 5th. Best lap is a 1:29.629. 1.644 off the fastest lap. Dominic Singendonk from Netherlands is P2, 1.3 behind Daniel Handke. Dominic Bobarg on lap 4 is 5th, 0.7 behind John Astrup. "25 minutes remaining in the session. Martijn Mol is 11th with 50 kilos, 0.9 behind Bob Bartle. Dominic Bobarg is P5, 0.6 behind John Astrup. Dominic Singendonk is P2, 1.0 behind Daniel Handke. Dominic Bobarg is P5, 0.5 behind John Astrup. Martijn Mol is P11, 0.4 behind Bob Bartle. Bob Bartle is 11th battling Martijn Mol. Dominic Bobart is P5, 0.4 behind John Astrup. Dominic Singendonk is second, 0.8 behind Daniel Handke. Dominic Bobart is 5th, 0.7 behind John Astrup. Dominic Singendonk is second. Best lap is a 1:26.695. Dominic Bobart is P5, 0.6 behind John Astrup. Christopher Paul is 9, 1.1 behind Robert Cormack. Dominic Singendonk is second, 1.4 behind Daniel Handke. 20 minutes remaining in the session. Dominic Bobart is 5th, 1.4 behind John Astrup. Dominic Singendonk is P2, 1.2 behind Daniel Handke. Dominic Bobart on lap 8 is P5, 0.6 behind John Astrup. John Astrup is 4th, 0.9 behind ReneRmotorsport-Assetto. Christopher Ball entering the pits is 11th. Martijn Mol is P9, 0.5 behind Robert Cormack. Dominic Singendonk entering the pits is P2. Christopher Ball exiting pits. John Astrup is P3. Dominic Singendonk exiting pits. Robert Cormack entering the pits is 7. Dominic Bobard is P4, 0.8 behind John Astrup. Robert Cormack exiting pits. Martage Mole is P9, 0.5 behind Bob Bartle. Dominic Bobard is 4th, 0.5 behind John Astrup. John Astrup is 3rd, 0.3 behind Rene Robertson. Dominic Bobard is 4th, 0.2 behind John Astrup. Dominic Bobard was 0.6 faster last lap. Dominic Singendonk is 5th, 0.4 behind Dominic Bobard. Martage Mole entering the pits is P9. Dominic Bobard is P5, 0.4 behind Dominic Singendonk. Dominic Singendonk is P4, 0.5 behind John Astrup. Martage Mole exiting pits. Dominic Bobard is P5, 0.8 behind Dominic Singendonk. Dominic Bobard entering the pits is P5. 15 minutes remaining in the session. Christopher Ball is 10th. Dominic Bobard is P7, 2.3 behind Brian Patterson. Dominic Bobard exiting pits. Dominic Singendonk from Netherlands is P3, 0.5 behind Rene Robertson. John Astrup is 4th. Best lap is a 1:28.274. 1.579 off the fastest lap. Daniel Hanke entering the pits is P1. Dominic Singendonk is 3rd, 0.2 behind Rene Robertson. Daniel Hanke exiting pits. Rene Robertson is P3 battling Dominic Singendonk. John Astrup is 4th, 0.9 behind Rene Robertson. Dominic Singendonk is P2, 1.2 ahead of Rene Robertson. Dominic Singendonk was 2.2 faster last lap. Rene Robertson entering the pits is 3rd. Rene Robertson is 3rd. John Astrup entering the pits is 4th. Dominic Singendonk on lap 13 is P2, 0.4 behind Daniel Hancock. John Astrup is 7th, 0.6 behind Dominic Bobard. Rene Robertson exiting pits. John Astrup exiting pits. Dominic Bobard is 5th, 0.1 behind Brian Patterson. Dominic Singendonk is P2, 0.5 behind Daniel Hancock. Dominic Singendonk was 2.9 faster last lap. Dominic Bobard is 5th, 0.1 behind Brian Patterson. Rene Robertson is P6, 0.2 behind Dominic Bobard. John Astrup is 7th, 0.4 behind Rene Robertson. Dominic Bobard is 5th, 0.1 behind Brian Patterson. 10 minutes remaining in the session. Dominic Bobard lost P6 to John Astrup. Rene Robertson is P5 with 20 kilos, 0.2 behind Brian Patterson. Dominic Bobard from United Kingdom is P7, 0.3 behind John Astrup. John Astrup was 1.3 faster last lap. Brian Patterson is 5th, 0.8 behind Rene Robertson. Brian Patterson was 0.7 faster last lap. Dominic Bobard is 7th, 0.5 behind John Astrup. John Astrup from New Zealand is 6th, 0.4 behind Brian Patterson. Dominic Bobard is 7th. Best lap is a 1:28.318. 1.623 off the fastest lap. John Astrup is 6th, 0.3 behind Brian Patterson. Dominic Sinjendonk is second. John Astrup is P6 with 40 kilos, 0.1 ahead of Dominic Favard. John Astrup was 1.5 faster last lap. Dominic Sinjendonk on lap 16 is second, 0.8 behind Daniel Handke. John Astrup is P6, 0.1 behind Brian Patterson. Dominic Favard from United Kingdom is P6, 0.5 behind Brian Patterson. Dominic Sinjendonk from Netherlands is P2, 0.4 behind Daniel Handke. Dominic Favard is 6th, 0.2 behind Brian Patterson. John Astrup is 7th, 0.4 behind Dominic Favard. John Astrup passed Dominic Favard for 6th. Dominic Sinjendonk from Netherlands is second, 0.5 behind Daniel Handke. John Astrup on lap 17 is P6, 0.5 behind Brian Patterson. Five minutes remaining in the session. Dominic Favard is 7th, 0.5 behind John Astrup. John Astrup from New Zealand is 6th, 0.1 behind Brian Patterson. Brian Patterson was 0.6 faster last lap. John Astrup is now P5. Dominic Favard is 6th, 0.5 behind John Astrup. Dominic Sinjendonk is second. Dominic Favard on lap 18 is P6, 0.5 behind John Astrup. Dominic Sinjendonk is second, 0.5 behind Daniel Handke. Dominic Favard is P6, 0.5 behind John Astrup. Dominic Singendonk is second, 1.2 behind Daniel Handke. Dominic Faubourg is P6, 0.6 behind John Astrup. Martijn Mol from Netherlands is 9th, 0.5 behind Bob Bartel. Rene Robertson is 4th, 0.5 behind David Forsyth. Martijn Mol from Netherlands is 9th, 0.3 behind Bob Bartel. Rene Robertson is P4, 0.5 behind David Forsyth. Dominic Faubourg is 6th. Martijn Mol is 9th, 0.2 behind Bob Bartel. Martijn Mol passed Bob Bartel for P8. Rene Robertson is P4 with 20 kilos, 0.5 behind David Forsyth. Rene Robertson was 2.4 faster last lap. Dominic Faubourg is P6. Rene Robertson is 4th, 0.2 behind David Forsyth. Dominic Faubourg is 6th. Best lap is a 1:28.246. 1.636 off the fastest lap. Rene Robertson is 4th, 0.5 behind David Forsyth. Dominic Faubourg is 6th, 1.2 behind John Astrup. Dominic Faubourg entering the pits is P6. Rene Robertson is P4, 0.1 behind David Forsyth. Dominic Faubourg exiting pits. Rene Robertson passed David Forsyth for P3. John Astrup is P4 battling David Forsyth. The leader has just finished the race. Daniel Hanke finished P1. Dominic Singendonk finished P2. Robert Cormack finished 11th. Rene Robertson is 3rd. Rene Robertson finished 3rd. John Astrup finished 4th. David Forsyth finished P5. Dominic Faubourg finished P6. Brian Patterson finished 7th. Martijn Mol finished P8. Bob Bartle finished 9th. Christopher Ball finished 10th. The race session is at Circuit de Monaco, OSRW 1.1, in Monte Carlo, MC, Monaco. Christopher Ball from United Kingdom is first. Bob Bartle from England is P2. Martijn Mol from Netherlands is third with 50 kilos. Brian Patterson from Scotland is P4 with 10 kilos. Dominic Faubourg from United Kingdom is 5th. John Astrup from New Zealand is 6th with 40 kilos. Rene Robertson from England is P7 with 20 kilos. Dominic Singendonk from Netherlands is 8th. Daniel Hanke from Germany is 9th. Robert Cormack from Italy is 10th. Christopher Ball is P1. Minutes remaining in the session. Race start. Martijn Mol is P3. Martijn Mol passed Bob Bartle for second. Brian Patterson is 5th. John Astrup is P6. Rene Robertson is P8. Rene Robertson is now P3. Robert Cormack is 8th. Rene Robertson is P3. John Astrup is P5. Dominic Singendonk entering the pits is P7. Robert Cormack entering the pits is 8. Daniel Handke is 6. Best lap is a 1:43.807. 8.282 off the fastest lap. Dominic Singendonk exiting pits. Robert Cormack exiting pits. John Astrup is 5th, 0.3 behind Brian Patterson. Daniel Handke is 6th, 0.3 behind John Astrup. John Astrup is 6th, 0.1 behind Daniel Handke. Daniel Handke is 5th, 0.2 behind Brian Patterson. John Astrup is 6th, 0.4 behind Daniel Handke. Daniel Handke from Germany is 5th, 0.2 behind Brian Patterson. Brian Patterson is P5, 0.1 behind Daniel Handke. Rene Robertson from England is P3, 0.4 behind Dominic Favard. Dominic Singendonk on lap 3 is P6, 0.4 behind John Astrup. Rene Robertson is 3rd, 0.4 behind Dominic Favard. Dominic Singendonk is 6th, 0.2 behind John Astrup. Dominic Singendonk was 4.8 faster last lap. "25 minutes remaining in the session. John Astrup is 6th, 0.1 behind Dominic Singendonk. Dominic Singendonk was 0.9 faster last lap. Rene Robertson is P3 with 20 kilos, 0.4 behind Dominic Favard. Brian Patterson is 7th. Best lap is a 1:33.525. 5.503 off the fastest lap. Rene Robertson is P3 with 20 kilos, 0.5 behind Dominic Favard. Dominic Singendonk is P5, 1.8 behind Daniel Handke. Rene Robertson is third, 0.3 behind Dominic Favard. Daniel Handke is P4, 1.6 behind Rene Robertson. Rene Robertson is third, 0.4 behind Dominic Favard. Dominic Singendonk on lap 6 is 5th, 1.1 behind Daniel Handke. Brian Patterson entering the pits is 7th. Rene Robertson is P3, 0.5 behind Dominic Favard. Daniel Handke is P4, 1.2 behind Rene Robertson. Rene Robertson is P3, 0.5 behind Dominic Favard. Dominic Singendonk is 5th, 0.8 behind Daniel Handke. Bob Bartle is 8th, 0.5 behind Robert Cormack. Rene Robertson is third, 0.3 behind Dominic Favard. Minutes remaining in the session. Daniel Handke on lap 7 is 4th, 0.5 behind Rene Robertson. Bob Bartle is 8th, 0.5 behind Robert Cormack. Daniel Handke is P4, 0.2 behind Rene Robertson. Dominic Singendonk is 5th, 0.1 behind Daniel Handke. Daniel Handke is P4, 0.5 behind Rene Robertson. Christopher Ball entering the pits is 9. Dominic Singendonk is 5th, 0.6 behind Daniel Handke. Daniel Handke is 4th, 0.4 behind Rene Robertson. Christopher Ball exiting pits. Dominic Singendonk is 5th, 0.4 behind Daniel Handke. Dominic Singendonk passed Daniel Handke for P4. Daniel Handke is 5th, 1.1 behind Dominic Singendonk. Dominic Singendonk on lap 9 is 4th, 0.5 behind Rene Robertson. Rene Robertson entering the pits is 3rd. Dominic Singendonk entering the pits is 4th. Rene Robertson is 3rd. John Astrup entering the pits is P6. Dominic Faubourg is P2, 3.6 ahead of Daniel Handke. Dominic Singendonk exiting pits. Rene Robertson exiting pits. Brian Patterson entering the pits is 10. John Astrup is 6th. John Astrup exiting pits. Brian Patterson exiting pits. Rene Robertson is 5th, 1.1 behind Dominic Singendonk. Christopher Ball entering the pits is P8. Daniel Handke is P3, 1.7 behind Dominic Faubourg. Martijn Mol entering the pits is 1st. Dominic Faubourg entering the pits is P2. 15 minutes remaining in the session. Daniel Handke is now 1st. Rene Robertson is 5th, 1.3 behind Dominic Singendonk. Dominic Singendonk was 2.0 faster last lap. Martijn Mol exiting pits. Dominic Faubourg exiting pits. Dominic Faubourg on lap 11 is P4, 0.6 behind Dominic Singendonk. Dominic Singendonk was 18.3 faster last lap. Rene Robertson on lap 11 is P5, 0.5 behind Dominic Faubourg. Dominic Faubourg is 5th battling Rene Robertson. Rene Robertson was 18.1 faster last lap. Daniel Handke entering the pits is 1st. Dominic Sinjendonk is third, 2.3 behind Martijn Mol. Daniel Handke exiting pits. Dominic Sinjendonk is now second. Daniel Handke from Germany is fourth, 0.1 ahead of Dominic Fabard. Daniel Handke lost P4 to Dominic Fabard. Dominic Fabard is P4, 0.5 ahead of Daniel Handke. Dominic Fabard was 14.3 faster last lap. Daniel Handke is fifth, 0.5 behind Dominic Fabard. Dominic Fabard on lap 12 is fourth, 0.5 ahead of Daniel Handke. Dominic Fabard lost fourth to Daniel Handke. Dominic Sinjendonk is P2, 0.6 behind Martijn Mol. Martijn Mol is P2, 0.3 behind Dominic Sinjendonk. Daniel Handke is fourth, 1.0 behind Rene Robertson. Rene Robertson was 2.7 faster last lap. Martijn Mol on lap 13 is P2, 1.3 behind Dominic Sinjendonk. Dominic Sinjendonk was 1.7 faster last lap. Daniel Handke is fourth, 0.7 behind Rene Robertson. Minutes remaining in the session. Dominic Fabard from United Kingdom is P5, 1.7 behind Daniel Handke. Daniel Handke was 0.7 faster last lap. Daniel Handke is fourth, 0.4 behind Rene Robertson. Martijn Mol is P2, 2.2 behind Dominic Sinjendonk. Dominic Sinjendonk was 2.1 faster last lap. Daniel Handke on lap 14 is fourth, 0.4 behind Rene Robertson. Dominic Fabard is P5, 1.4 behind Daniel Handke. Daniel Handke is 4th. Best lap is a 1:26.737. POINT 503 off the fastest lap. Dominic Bobard is P5, 1.1 behind Daniel Handke. Daniel Handke is 4th, 0.3 behind Rene Robertson. Dominic Bobard is P5, 0.7 behind Daniel Handke. Daniel Handke is P4, 0.3 behind Rene Robertson. Dominic Bobard on lap 16 is P5, 0.7 behind Daniel Handke. Daniel Handke from Germany is P4, 0.4 behind Rene Robertson. Dominic Bobard is P5, 0.7 behind Daniel Handke. Daniel Handke is 4th, 0.3 behind Rene Robertson. Dominic Bobard is 5th, 0.5 behind Daniel Handke. Daniel Handke is P4, 0.3 behind Rene Robertson. 5 minutes remaining in the session. Dominic Bobard is P5, 1.0 behind Daniel Handke. Martijn Mol exiting pits. Rene Robertson is 3rd with 20 kilos, 0.4 behind Martijn Mol. Daniel Handke is P4, 0.3 behind Rene Robertson. Rene Robertson is 3rd with 20 kilos, 0.3 ahead of Daniel Handke. Dominic Bobard is 5th, 0.5 behind Daniel Handke. Bob Bartle entering the pits is P7. Rene Robertson is P3, 0.3 behind Martijn Mol. Robertson. Rene Robertson is P3, 0.3 ahead of Daniel Handke. Daniel Handke is 4th, 0.3 behind Rene Robertson. Bob Bartle exiting pits. Dominic Fabard is P5, 0.3 behind Daniel Handke. Daniel Handke on lap 19 is 4th, 0.5 ahead of Dominic Fabard. Dominic Fabard is P5, 0.5 behind Daniel Handke. John Astrup entering the pits is P6. Daniel Handke from Germany is P4, 0.5 behind Rene Robertson. John Astrup exiting pits. Dominic Fabard is P5, 0.8 behind Daniel Handke. Daniel Handke is 4th, 0.4 behind Rene Robertson. Robertson from England is P3, 0.7 behind Martijn Mol. Daniel Handke is P4, 0.6 behind Rene Robertson. Rene Robertson is P3. Best lap is a 1:27.337. 1.103 off the fastest lap. Daniel Handke is P4, 0.3 behind Rene Robertson. Martijn Mol is P3, 0.4 ahead of Daniel Handke. Daniel Handke was 1.4 faster last lap. Daniel Handke is 4th, 0.3 behind Martijn Mol. Daniel Handke was 1.4 faster last lap. Martijn Mol is P3, 0.2 ahead of Daniel Handke. Daniel Handke is P4, 0.2 behind Martijn Mol. The leader has just finished the race. Dominic Singendonk finished first. Dominic Bobard finished P2. Martijn Mol finished third. Daniel Handke finished fourth. Rene Robertson finished fifth. John Astrup finished 6th. Robert Cormack finished 7th. Bob Bartle finished 8th. Brian Patterson finished 9th.